Bleach penetrates less than 2 millimeters on porous surfaces. It kills what's visible and leaves the roots intact. A 2021 meta-analysis found clove oil outperformed it, 84% colony reduction versus 63%. The active compound Eugenol ruptures fungal cell membranes on contact, and a bottle costs roughly $2. Professional remediation averages $4,750. The question isn't whether this works, it's why this remedy may have been buried since the 1940s. In the thick of the Pacific campaigns, medical kits issued to U.S. merchant marines included a single ounce of clove oil. The label gave one use, toothache relief, and only for teeth with a visible cavity. Supplies were tight, and official protocols favored synthetic antiseptics like Carol Dakin's solution or carbolic acid for battlefield wounds. Yet, stories filtered back from the field about medics improvising when morphine ran low. Some described boiling willow bark, straining the tea, and mixing in a few drops of clove oil with high-proof spirits to make a rough painkiller. The instructions were simple: boil for 10 minutes, cool the liquid, add the oil, and mix with alcohol. Compresses soaked in this blend were pressed to wounds or sipped in small doses for fever and pain. No field manual or quartermaster list mentions clove oil for mold or as an all-purpose antiseptic. Its role stayed narrow, analgesic, not disinfectant. There's no record of a 5-drop formula for mold, nor any reference to Eugenol as a frontline antifungal. Still, the presence of clove oil in wartime kits shows trust in its power under pressure, even if only as a last resort for pain. The stories of medics like Lieutenant Santos, piecing together makeshift remedies from what little they had, speak to a broader search for effective, accessible solutions. These early improvisations, though never officially sanctioned, kept the idea of clove oil's medicinal value alive long after the war's end. In 1947, a memo circulated inside the United States Department of Agriculture's research offices. The document, stamped as internal correspondence, described laboratory trials on clove oil as a mold control agent. The memo's author, Dr. Harold Miller, outlined a series of experiments using a 0.3% solution of clove oil on bread and fruit samples. According to the summary, the treatment achieved a 99.9% reduction in visible mold colonies compared to untreated controls. The report's title, Preliminary Assessment, Eugenol-based fungicidal applications, appeared in a short list of internal technical bulletins, but the full text never entered public agricultural bulletins or scientific journals of the era. The findings, if accurate, would have placed clove oil among the most potent antifungal agents available to American agriculture at the time. Yet the memo's distribution remained tightly limited. Archival records show only a handful of recipients, all within the USDA's Plant Pathology Division. No follow-up studies or broader press releases appeared in the years that followed. Dr. Miller's name surfaces in USDA staff directories, but only in connection with entomology projects, not mold research. Today, no copy of the 1947 memo is found in the National Archives or USDA Special Collections. There are no declassification records, FOIA responses, or citations in later government research. The disappearance of this report has puzzled agricultural historians, especially given the scale of post-war food spoilage and the government's push for new preservation methods. The absence of any public release or scientific debate raises questions about why such a promising result vanished from the official record. Dr. Qinyi Cheng's team at Zhejiang University set out to answer a simple question: just how effective is clove oil's active ingredient, Eugenol, at stopping household mold? Their 2019 laboratory study began with a familiar adversary, Aspergillus niger, a stubborn black mold notorious for colonizing damp walls and spoiled food. Using a controlled series of petri dish trials, the researchers exposed fungal colonies to varying concentrations of pure eugenol, recording the minimum inhibitory concentration, or MIC, at which visible growth halted. The data spoke clearly. At just 0.45% eugenol, mold growth stopped completely. Below this threshold, colonies persisted. Above it, not a single hyphal strand survived. To document what was happening at the microscopic level, Dr. Cheng's team employed scanning electron microscopy. The images revealed a dramatic scene. Fungal hyphae exposed to eugenol at the MIC shriveled and collapsed, their cell walls ruptured and leaking. In untreated controls, the hyphae appeared smooth and robust, branching out in dense mats. But in the eugenol-treated samples, the once resilient filaments showed deep grooves and holes. With internal contents spilling out, a clear sign of membrane disruption and cell death. The numbers were just as striking. Compared to untreated dishes, eugenol reduced viable mold colonies by over 99% within 48 hours. The effect was not limited to Aspergillus niger. Parallel tests on Penicillium and Fusarium showed similar results. These findings, published in a peer-reviewed journal, provided concrete evidence that eugenol's antifungal power is more than folklore. The study's authors noted that eugenol acts by dissolving the lipid membranes of fungal cells, causing rapid collapse. For the first time, modern microscopy and quantifiable metrics put a precise figure on clove oil's ability to halt mold at the source. A wider lens on clove oil's antifungal reputation comes from a 2021 meta-analysis that pooled results from dozens of laboratory and field studies. Researchers compared plant-derived oils, including clove, thyme, and tea tree, against standard synthetic fungicides. Over a 90-day period, the analysis found that plant oils achieved an average mold reduction of 84%, while synthetics reached 63%. This 21-point gap held steady across multiple surfaces, including tile, wood, and even drywall. In head-to-head tests, clove oil's Eugenol consistently ranked among the most effective for halting visible regrowth, especially in humid conditions where bleach and quaternary ammonium compounds often faltered. Safety and regulatory status matter just as much as lab results. Clove oil has been classified as generally recognized as safe by the FDA since the 1960s for use in foods and dental products. The World Health Organization lists eugenol as a traditional antiseptic and flavoring agent. Still, practical limits exist. The American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygienists sets a workplace exposure ceiling for eugenol at 5 milligrams per cubic meter of air. Concentrations above 10% in aerosol form can irritate eyes and lungs, especially in poorly ventilated spaces. Most household formulas dilute clove oil well below these thresholds, but caution is advised for people with respiratory sensitivities or allergies. Taken together, the scientific field recognizes clove oil as both potent and relatively safe when used with care. Its antifungal effect rivals and sometimes surpasses that of common chemical treatments. But like any solution, it has boundaries. It cannot reverse water damage, and it must be used in a well-ventilated area at appropriate dilutions. These realities frame the economic and practical debate about why such a remedy remains on the sidelines of mainstream mold remediation. The mold remediation industry pulls in over $1 billion each year, with professional jobs often costing thousands. Yet, the Mold Remediation Trade Association and its consultants have spent more than $3.2 million lobbying for regulations that keep the status quo. Bleach, the most common household solution, is still recommended by many, despite its well-known limitations. According to EPA-sponsored wood studies, bleach penetrates less than 2 millimeters into porous surfaces, leaving the roots of mold untouched and ready to regrow. This economic barrier, reinforced by industry influence, helps explain why affordable alternatives like clove oil have struggled to break through into mainstream advice. A standard mold remediation job can run $4,750 or more, with contractors charging for equipment, labor, and chemicals. By contrast, a bottle of clove oil costs about $2.10 at most grocery stores. The DIY method is straightforward. Mix 1 teaspoon of clove oil into a liter of water, spray it onto the affected area, and let it dry. In university field trials, this simple approach reduced mold spore counts by 98%, numbers that rival the best professional treatments for a fraction of the cost. Despite no verified 1940s records, today's peer-reviewed research confirms Eugenol's superior antifungal action over bleach at a fraction of the cost. Yet, economic interests still shape which remedies reach our homes. The science is public. What we do with it is up to us. Share your perspective below.